Yes, my between the liners, Manchester United have lost 2-1 to Fulham at Old Trafford. It's our first loss in 2024. And honestly, it just feels a bit embarrassing. We are live at the moment. Make sure you get in the live chat if you're joining us. And if not, make sure you give it a like and a subscribe and a share after the game at least. Or get in the comments if you feel like as well. Let's take it through that game. Overall, very flat game. We've had cause for optimism over the last few games. Obviously, we've won, is it 4 of our last 5 in the Premier League or 5 in our last 5 in the Premier League. Hoyland's been in an unbelievable scoring run. We've had a few of our big injury first team players come back to the fold. And at the same time, we've also lost them at the same time, such as no Shaw, no Martinez. Casemiro had to come off at half time. But honestly, I don't know where to start, guys. Let's talk about the starting lineup first off. We saw Lindelof at left back again. Obviously, a lot of us weren't happy. We saw Amari Fulham get his first start for the club. Big ratings for him. Obviously, Ten Hag must have seen something from him in training at least or something, but none of us saw anything from that game today to suggest why Ten Hag actually started him. Did he deserve a start over Ahmad? I'm not so sure. I know Ahmad hasn't really proven his worth yet to United per se, but did Forson deserve that game over Ahmad? Or even Anthony, for example. And I know we all know how bad Anthony's been, but maybe he could have provided a bit more shape out on the right-hand side, possibly a bit more work rate and ball retention. Amari Fulham kind of looked like he was lost out there, to be honest. His tech wasn't great. His positioning wasn't great. He was trying to collect the ball in silly areas right near his teammates. I hate this thing that some footballers do, and you even see it in our level in Sunday League or five-a-side, when people come too close to you to collect the ball. Why am I going to pass you 1 meter away when I could just go forward 1 meter and then pass to someone else myself? That doesn't make any sense. And I think Fulham really lacked in his positioning. But I don't want to blame him. He's just a young kid. He's 18 years old. So you can't really blame him for that. The blame probably has to lie on Ten Hag for that. Because why is he playing him in the first place? No one really knows how Fulham got a start. Is it because of his cameo performance against Wolves and that's the only reason why he was playing? I don't know. The rest of the starting lineup kind of speaks for itself because of injuries. Shaw's out, Martinez is out, Mount's out, Hoyland was out. So the rest of the starting lineup made sense. We all know how ineffective Rashford is up top. And look at Rashford's performance today. Did he provide anything to this team today? I don't think so. Maybe you might think it's unfair to suggest that he didn't provide nothing considering the lack of chance creation or the lack of support around him. But at the same time, you're a senior figure at the club. You should go out and drag the team by the scruff of the neck to try and make something happen at least. If you think you're not getting the ball enough, drop back a little deeper, help your teammates out. You've got young kids on the left and the right in terms of Garnacho and Rashford. Maybe drop back a little bit deeper to try and make things happen. I know that's not Rashford's game, but at this point of your career, you've got to try and be effective in the game no matter what. If you're not receiving the ball, go grab the ball from the back and try and make something happen at least. Haroon in the chat, big up Haroon. He's saying, on Ten Hag today, and I have a feeling he's about to write more. Haroon saying awful selection and substitutions. Selection-wise, I think you can't really blame him. We've had a lot of injuries, and if you look at the bench today, it's not like there were many options on the bench. In terms of his substitutions, I was going to get there a bit later, but we'll get to it now. The substitutions, one thing I want to credit Ten Hag for It's funny, man. I always look at the positive things in life, man. One thing I wanted to credit Ten Hag for, firstly, is at least he had the initiative to make the substitutions early on. Obviously, Casemiro went off with an injury. I'm not really sure what's happened there, so hopefully he's all right. But Casemiro come off and he brought on McTominay and Eriksen for Forsen. I think that McTominay, I don't know. In terms of Casemiro coming off, who do you bring off? Bring on, sorry. Casemiro's replacement probably has to be Eriksen. So I think in that term, he made the right decision. In terms of bringing on Eriksen for McTominay for Forsen, it ruined our wide play because we had no width other than Garnacho. Bruno out on the right was non-existent, did nothing out on the right-hand side of note that I can remember. Don't even think he was pressing that hard as well. So yeah, in terms of what Haroon's saying, awful substitutions, I hear it because we could have brought on a right winger in terms of Anthony, who's got experience, or Ahmad, who's been Sunderland's player of the season, one of the best players in the Championship last season. We've seen that he's got glimpses of ability or glimpses of talent that we have seen in a first team scenario, but obviously not at United. So I don't know. I don't know why Ahmad doesn't get the opportunity. Is he not good enough in training? There must be a reason why, and I'll be delighted to hear what the reason is, why Forsen gets more minutes over Ahmad at the moment, which sounds bizarre, but there must be some kind of logical explanation from Ten Hag, which I'll be really interested to hear. Haroon says you have Ahmad, who's had game time first team for Sunderland and played well in the Championship, and you play a guy with no minutes and someone who wasn't really highly regarded in the academy. Honestly, I said the same thing basically just now. I don't really know why. Is Ahmad doing worse in training than Forsen? Is Forsen putting in a better shift? Is Forsen more willing to learn? I don't know. Ahmad had a few glimpses of quality when he came on, to be fair to him. Looked like he's got composure on his side. I don't know. Tunjay's in the chat. He's saying Maguire's player of the season, United's only hope. Tunj, I'm going to be honest, man. Maguire is absolute bag of shit. No matter if he scored that goal, no matter how many headers he gets out of our box, he's just so clumsy. His ball work is absolutely poor. He's only good at being in each box, heading and in and heading out. And if, you know what, fair play to Maguire. He gives it his all. He hasn't complained when he was on the bench, and he has got our goal. He tried to fight for the team. He got us a goal. He could have easily switched off and been offside there. He managed to stay on side, and he got us a goal. There was also another chance late on that he could have scored or got on target at least, but he missed. But it's not Maguire's job to score the goal, so I'm not going to be too harsh on him today, especially. Tunjay saying Eric Ten Hag's like Southgate. Do you think he has favourites and agendas? Tunj, I think that's a very good question, and I think you're probably right. He definitely does have some favourites. He definitely does have some agendas. I don't think Maguire is one per se, because he obviously took the captaincy off him and benched him for a long time. Does he have favourites in terms of Anthony? Yes. Probably Marcus? Yes. But at the same time, you can say maybe no, because he's dropped Anthony after months and months of poor performances. So at least he's noticed that. He's even decided to play Garnacho on the right when everyone's fit. So Anthony, Ten Hag's shown that, yes, he might have favourites, but he does tend to drop them. Rashford might be a favourite, but he's also one of our main attacking threats. So you constantly have to play him because you need results and you need goals and you need Rashford to be fit and firing. So that's why I'm not sure I completely agree with Tunjay, because the agenda against Ahmad, which is, I guess, what the question is or the topic of conversation is at the moment, I don't think Ahmad has shown enough in a first-team environment at United to suggest that there's an agenda against him. And I think if he's not playing, Ten Hag must think that there's something going wrong in training, there's an attitude problem or talent problem, I don't know. Obviously, there's a lot of clamour to get Ahmad in, and as United fans, we do this a lot. The person that's not in the team, the person that's fresh and hasn't played many minutes for United, usually gets looked to as a saviour, and we think he's going to come through and change things. And it doesn't work like that, because say Ahmad even come on in the 50th minute and the game played out how it played out, because it was really flat even in the first half. Most of that first half was really flat. We didn't expect from the first half. I couldn't say that we deserved the game. Obviously from the second half we didn't deserve 3 points, definitely. I don't think we deserved the draw either. But from the first half, I don't think there was anything to suggest that bringing on Ahmad in the second half would have changed much in the game, that United would have suddenly held more of the ball, would have suddenly been more effective, because of the rest of the team around that right wing slot, or anyone that was playing that right wing slot, wasn't good enough anyway. For example, Bruno Fernandes, he's our captain, he's meant to be our main inspiration. What is that guy providing right now? And you guys at home know I love Bruno Fernandes. He's one of my favourite players. He's probably on the back of my shirt right now. He's probably somewhere here right now. He's gone lower down, but shout out Amrabat, still fighting for his place. Shout out Amrabat. Bruno Fernandes, what is he providing to the team right now? Yes, he runs around a lot. Yes, his work ethic is unbelievable. But is his pressing calculated enough? Where's that chance creation gone at the same time? We're sick and tired of you getting the ball in the middle of the park and forcing a switch out to Garnacho, or forcing a switch out to the right-hand side, or forcing a switch or a long ball over the top of the striker, past the last line of defence, because you're hitting it too hard or you're hitting it too short and it's not paying off. So if you're not creating chances, if you're not dictating the tempo of the game, what is Bruno Fernandes What is Bruno Fernandes providing to the team right now? I'm not so sure. Casemiro in the first half. Look, you guys also know I've been one of Casemiro's biggest defenders. I keep saying he's not finished. I might have to eat my words slightly, because Casemiro now, I don't think he has the legs out of possession. I don't think he has the passing ability in possession. This is a game today we played Fulham. They didn't have Paulinho in the midfield. It's Paulinho, I think that's his name. They didn't have Paulinho in the midfield. He's one of their better players. He's runs around a lot. He covers a lot of grass. He cuts out a lot of passing lanes. He distributes the ball well. And our midfield got dominated without him playing. So imagine he was playing, and imagine the comparison between Paulinho and Casemiro. I don't want to be too harsh on Casemiro. Yes, he's a bit older. He's just turned 32 on Friday. But he's not capable of running around enough to protect the back 4-1. And that's why you saw in the first half, Mainu was exposed, Bruno was exposed, because a lot of the time they're tracking back, trying to track Fulham's midfield runners like Iwobi, like Reed. And it's just the rest of the midfield aren't capable of keeping up with Fulham's midfield, because your CDM, your holding midfielder, probably hasn't got the legs anymore. And I hate to say that about Casemiro. Cricket Chronicles in the chat says, Bruno played more games minutes than anyone since he came to United. We need depth, hence why we got Mount. It's difficult doing it by yourself. And I completely agree with you, Jeev. And that's why I'm very reluctant to criticise Bruno as much as a lot of United fans do, because the guy has run himself into the ground since he's come into United. But that doesn't excuse you of not being able to play the simple pass, or not being able to have some maturity in your game, and to sometimes just slow it down. Sometimes acknowledge that your team is getting outrun at the moment and you need to keep the ball a bit to build the team up the pitch, further up the pitch, rather than forcing it. You're the captain. You're the best player in the team. Know your level and know that the team needs you more than you need to try and force something to try and be the star player and create a goal out of nowhere. You see it in the last 20 minutes, Bruno Fernandes, there's one point he was acting injured and he starts shooting from 30 yards. Are you injured, or are you actually all right and you're just trying to find an excuse now and you can still take 30 yarders? And yes, they were on target, and yes, Leno was parrying it out and he was causing problems for Fulham. But we were trying to build up attacks and trying to bring sustainable attacks. You don't do that just by getting the ball 30 yards out and banging it into the middle of the goal. Just because you're getting on target doesn't mean it's a good thing. So yes, Jeeva, I agree with you. He has been overplayed. He has outrun every single other person on that pitch. But at the same time, I need more maturity from Bruno. And yes, obviously Mount situation, we haven't seen him in a long time. So I don't even know what to say about Mason Mount. Sorry about that, guys. Saib's in the chat. Saib Cortez. Ahmad Ball project officially dead, or Ten Hag lost his mind. I think you might have missed this bit earlier in the chat, Saib, in the video. We were saying about Ahmad. I'm not really sure why he doesn't play. I'm not sure how Fulham got the start over him. Is it because of Fulham's cameo against Wolves that Ten Hag decided to reward him a bit? And Ahmad in a United shirt hasn't really provided enough, at least in a United shirt. and at least in front of Ten Hag. So maybe that's why. And also, you have to put question marks to Ahmad's training methods, because is he training hard enough? Is he showing enough determination in training? I don't know, because that's the only excuse I can think of for why he's not playing enough. There's obviously some talent in there. Whenever you see Ahmad on the pitch, you see he's got some technique, you see he's got some composure. But yeah, like I said, I don't know. I don't know why he's not getting enough game time. Saib also saying, if we get rid of Eric Ten Hag tomorrow, who do we bring in? And I think that's a question you got to ask yourself, Saib, because I don't think that's the right question to ask. You've seen the number of good managers that we've had over the last few years, and the same issues have continued to happen. So that I don't think the answer is to get rid of the manager. If you get rid of Eric Ten Hag tomorrow, you bring in, let's say, De Zerbi. Eric Ten Hag was De Zerbi 2 years ago. You bring in Xabi Alonso. Eric Ten Hag was Xabi Alonso 2 years ago. So I don't think the answer is the manager right now. And also another thing, I know there's a lot of criticism around the manager. I'm not absolving him of all of the blame from this game either. Some of his substitutions may be questionable. Some of the starting lineup, some of the team tactics, the team setup may be questionable for sure. But only 2 of the starting lineup today were Ten Hag signings, no? If I'm not mistaken. So how do you expect him to change everything when a lot of these players weren't his players? Martinez is injured. Shaw is one of our crucial players in the team, and we all know that, and he's not in the team. We had to play Lindelof at left back today, so I don't know. Saib Cortez is saying he's not it. Look, there's one thing I'll agree with you about Ten Hag not being it, yeah? I think his lack of charisma and his energy isn't there, and that's something that bugs me, to be honest, because as a United manager, as a manager of a big club, and I hate to compare, but look at the personalities of Pep, look at the personality of Klopp, even look at the personality of Arteta, look at the personality of Ange, for example, look at the personality of De Zerbi. These are managers with big personalities, and Ten Hag, I've said it before in previous match reactions, he's kind of like my dad. He's a bit mundane, he's a bit monotone, very disciplinarian, very school teacher like. It's either like his way or you're gonna get beats. But yeah, that's one thing that maybe he doesn't have, that charisma for a big club. But I think tactically, I think he is there, but he's just not being able to show it yet. And I think that's partially down to his team lineup. A lot of things going on in the back room of his team, such as obviously Rashford, Sancho, Anthony situation, Greenwood situation. So a lot of it, I think, doesn't lie on his shoulders, but a lot of it also does, especially on the pitch. Because with the team that he's got, on paper, we're still a better team than Fulham, and we're clearly not showing signs of that. So that's something Ten Hag has to take blame for. We're also still too open in transition. Too many teams are taking so many shots against us. I think in the last 3 games we've had, or 4 games, there's been 20 shots taken against us in each game. I'm just going to check the stats for today as well. Let me just have a look. How many shots did Fulham have? If anyone can tell me in the chat, if possible. Fulham had 17 shots and we had 21, and that's just not good enough. Why are we so open and prone to getting pulled apart through transition? You're making guys like Iwobi look like world beaters against us, and that's just not good enough. And that's Ten Hag's got to take some of the blame for that. And at the same time, he doesn't, because he's playing who he has in the midfield to stop those transitions. Everyone wants Mainu in there. Everyone wants Bruno in there. If not Bruno, then who? Everyone wants Casemiro in there. So if them 3 aren't capable of stopping transitions in the midfield, stopping Fulham from going defence to our attack in quick succession, then who is? It's not going to be McTominay. It's not going to be Eriksen. So we don't have the players capable of stopping those transitions. And that's why so many teams are having so many shots against us. I think that in the first half, despite the beginning being a bit shaky, the end of the first half, we did dominate possession for once. We were in control, which was a positive. But then once we came out in the second half, especially after the Casemiro injury, everything went back to square one, back to default of how we've been playing, just so open. I thought Dalot was good in the first half, not so good in the second half. He's continued his improvement of recent times in terms of composure on the ball, defensive work rate. But a lot of the time in the second half, he has that Bruno gene again, where he gave it away a lot. Onana, I thought, made a few good saves. Rashford, I've spoken about already. Garnacho was very dangerous, to be fair to him, throughout most of that game, and he's still only 19. We have so much high expectations of Garnacho. It's actually unfair, but it is what it is at the moment. That's the pressure of being a Manchester United first team starter. Mainu, I don't think, had much of an impact on the game, unfortunately, and I blame his midfield partners for that, to be honest, and the rest of the team incapable of keeping the ball, holding onto the ball. Anything else of note to you guys? I think that's about it. Stop playing Bruno out wide. McTominay shouldn't be on the pitch, but we have no other options. Look, obviously, I know we all want to watch Bournemouth Man City, so I'm going to cut the video here. I think maybe it's top 4 race over. I think we're 7 points. We're 8 points behind now, I believe. Was it 9 points behind Villa? Let me just double check that. Sorry, guys. Premier League table. I don't know if this is updated. I believe 8 points behind Aston Villa for the top 4 race now because they won 4-2 against Forest today. I think that might be the top 4 race over, to be honest. And I've been saying to Ryan for quite a while that I think we will get top 4, but now I think it's done, to be honest. Yeah, really disappointing. Hopefully we have a good FA Cup run. Hopefully Højlund comes into the key team and keeps bagging at least, which is one spot of hope that we have at the moment. Højlund, obviously, and Garnacho, Mainu, of course. I think we need summer ASAP. We need new signings. We need the momentum of the Ineos takeover and the new technical director and the team in the backroom staff to keep building positivity. And you see the last 5 results that we had in 2024 were good, and I think that stems from, I think it actually coincides with the time that Ineos confirmed that the 25% takeover, 27% takeover was going to happen. So we need to ride on that wave of momentum and hopefully bring more positivity to the club. This season's practically a write-off, and I hate saying it. There's still, about 12, 13 games after the season, and I think it's done, man. Anyway, best player for United so far today, Garnacho. I think. Anyone else? I don't know. Fair play to Fulham as well. They came to Old Trafford. They put in a shift. Teams are capable of beating us because they want it more than us, and we just have to accept that at the moment. Certain players, other teams' players want it, want the game, want the win, want the ball, want the determination, want the goals more than our players do in our team. And that's the end all and be all, to be honest, despite being better on paper. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought in the comment. Thank you for everyone that joined me live. I'm trying to be here after every United games, but sometimes I'm too busy playing football, so I can't always make it. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you go check out the Legends League episodes to see real football, because Man United are not playing great football. Go check out the Legends League in the previous videos. I've been killing it in the Legends League. Top goal scorer, top assister. Signing out. Your boy Adnan. Peace. Between the lines.